So with the frequency filter dataset we constructed, which basically stacks the daily data, the monthly data, and the quarterly data together, we can now construct a new measure which can take care of different data frequencies and return the moving average. So we're going to construct this new measure under this historical daily data table. So we'll just click on this table and then click new measure, and I'm going to paste my DAX code here. So I call this measure MA_freq. So moving average with different data frequencies. Okay. So the first step, we define a intermediate variable. We call it free. Stands for frequency. Okay. So we use this function called selected value. Okay. This selected value will work on this frequency filter data set and the frequency data field in particular. All right. So remember, go to the table view. Let's take a look at the frequency filter data sets. Okay. Well, again, this is just this, the daily table, the quarterly table, the monthly table all stacked together. Okay. So the first part is the daily table, which you can see all the trading days, and the second column called frequency just has a marker says, well, all those rows are related to the daily frequency. Okay. Then when we move down, we can see, okay, we have those dates where they are the last trading day of a month. Okay, for example, January 31st, February 28th. Okay, all those are the last trading day of a month, and for those trading days we have this marker says, okay, they are related to monthly frequency. Okay, and lastly, if you move down, you have those dates at the very last, the last date trading days of a quarter. Say for example, March 31st, that's going to be the last trading day of the first quarter, and we have September 29th, that's the last trading day of the third quarter. So those rows, which are the last trading days of quarter, are marked as quarterly in this frequency column. All right, so then let's go back again to this measure we just constructed. So selected value will basically look at which value you select in the frequency filter data set under the frequency column. Okay, basically we have this filter or slicer constructed before, and this slicer, you can take a look at this slicer. Click on this slicer. This slicer basically showing the field of frequency, and this frequency field is basically under the frequency filter data set. So if you choose monthly, then under this measure, then this selected value function will return monthly. Okay, if you select, well, actually let me move this here. If you select daily in this slicer, then this selected value will return a value of daily. Okay, so basically the selected value function is gonna return whatever you select in this slicer. Okay, because this slicer is based on the frequency data field under the frequency filter data set, and here selected value function is working on that particular data field. So these two are just closely connected. Whatever field you choose, whatever kind of marker or value you choose under the slicer is going to be returned by this selected value function in this measure definition. Okay, so the first step, we get this whatever selection you made in this slicer. The next step, we're going to use this selection you made to decide which particular data set we're going to take out, whether we're going to take out the daily data set, the monthly data set, or the quarterly data set. Okay, so we use a filter function here, and this filter function works on the entire historical daily table. Okay, then the exact filter we're going to apply to this historical daily table depends on this the return of this switch function. Okay, switch function basically tests a certain condition and return a request value dependent on the condition. All right. So here the condition we try to test is basically the value of this variable called free, which we defined in the first step. Okay, and free is basically determined by whichever marker or value you choose from this slicer. Okay, so basically this switch function works like this. It will check the value of free. If the value of free is daily, for example, if you choose daily in this slicer, then this switch function is going to return true. Means there's no condition imposed. Okay, everything's true. Okay, if you choose the monthly in this slicer, okay, if the choice you made is monthly, then the switch function will return a condition which says I'm only going to take the rows in historical daily where UM1 equals 1. Okay, UM1 is a calculated column we constructed before. Okay, when UM equals 1, that means we're only taking the rows in which it's the last trading day of the month. Okay, EOM stands for end of month. Okay, so when UM equals 1, those are the rows where those are the rows related to the last trading day of the month. Okay. Lastly, if you choose quarterly in this slicer, okay, if you choose quarterly, then the switch function will return this condition. Historical daily EOQ1 equals 1. Okay, EOQ1 is another calculated column. This column takes value of 1 if the row is related to the last trading day of a quarter. Okay, so basically this switch function is trying to relate whatever you choose in this slicer to the rows we should take out for calculation. All right, so if you choose daily, the condition says we're going to take all the rows. Okay, there's no condition imposed, so everything is true. So we're not going to filter anything from this entire historical daily table. We're taking all the rows basically. All right, if you've chosen monthly in this slicer, okay, then the filter function is going to impose this condition on this historical daily table. In this case, we're only taking out rows in which the rows are related to the last trading day of a month. Okay. If you choose the quarterly marker here, then this condition is imposed to the historical daily table in the filter function. That means the filter function is only going to take out the rows related to the last trading day of a quarter. All right. So pretty much the second step, all right, will take out whatever rows we need to process the data, dependent on your choice in this slicer, okay, such that we can always work on the particular frequency we need to process the data. Then move on to the third step. Again, here we define a kind of window length for calculating the moving average, and 12 again is a common choice. So we define n equals 12, and this n is going to be used in the last step where we calculate the average. All right. So again, we use the window function to take out 12 rows prior to the current row. Okay. And again, the current row is going to be determined by which point you are looking at on the wheel. Okay. So for each particular date you are looking at on the wheel, the window function is going to take the prior 12 rows and then average them to calculate the average closing price in the prior 12 rows. Okay. So, well, again, if you're working on daily table, and if you are looking at a particular day on the x-axis, then the window function is going to take 12 days prior to that particular day and calculate the average price in that 12 days and return this as the moving average. Okay, this value is going to be returned in this variable called MA, and this MA is going to be returned as the final result for this measure. Okay. If you're looking at a monthly frequency, same thing. If, for example, if the point you're looking at on the x-axis is say March 2023, then this window function is gonna take 12 rows prior to March 2023, okay? And because you already decided, okay, which data set you are looking at. If you're looking at monthly data set, well, we only have rows which are related to trading days at the end of each month. So again, if your current date is the last trading day of March 2023, then the window function is going to take the previous 12 rows, which means the last trading days of the prior 12 months. Okay, and then the average x function is going to calculate the average of the closing price in the 12 trading days, which are the last trading days of the prior 12 months. Okay, so that's how this entire definition of this new measure works. If you want to understand the details of how the window function and the average x function works, you can check out some previous videos where I explain in more details how those function works. Okay. So once you have constructed this measure, you can then construct a visual that shows moving average at different data frequencies. So now let's construct this visual which contains this moving average that can change based on what frequency choice you make here in the slicer. So let's check, let's click on this blank area in the report page, then we click on line chart. This will introduce a new line chart, and for the x-axis we're going to use the date under the historical daily frequency. I'm sorry, the data under this historical daily data table. That's going to be our x-axis. The y-axis we can use adjusted close. Okay. Well, we don't want to use the count of adjusted close, right? We actually want to use some aggregate functions like either the average or the minimum. Okay, on each day. This adjusted close is basically the closing price on each day, and because your x-axis is basically a particular date, so there's just one observation of this adjusted close on each day. So it doesn't matter whether you are averaging it, you're taking the minimum of it. It's just that single value itself. Okay, so I'll choose the minimum. Okay, which shows the closing price at the end of each quarter. Okay, if you move to monthly, this is going to be the closing price at the end of each month, and now it's going to be the closing price for each day. All right. So lastly, we're going to have the measure we just calculated also shown on the y-axis. So now we have this daily price together with the moving average, 12-day moving average of the daily price. Again, if you choose month, then we have this monthly closing price together with 12-month moving average.